The Crossover with Marlon and Armand is brought to you by Western States Plumbing and AC.
You're now tuned in to The Crossover with Marlon Jones and Armand Williams.
Hold up, you're teaming up a Sun Devil and a Wildcat? Who came up with that brilliant idea?
The Crossover on KDUS AM 1060.
All right, welcome to The Crossover. Marlon Jones and Armand Williams, KDUS 1060. My name is Armand. I go by The Hammer. My partner is Marlon Jones. He goes by Big Showtime. If you're listening to us live, please do us a solid and go to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page and subscribe to both of them at The Crossover 1060. Once again, that's at The Crossover 1060. Marlon Jones, this is another beautiful Saturday morning.
It is a beautiful Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And you said both of them today. You didn't say both of them. Congrats.
I'm trying to.
We're progressing.
I'm trying to be grammatically correct. I don't want Kayla to get too upset at us. What is this both of them? So what's new with you, man? What's new with you?
Well, you know, it's game day for my club kids. I coach club basketball.
Right. And you have a game right after this.
Yeah, we got a tournament out in Avondale. So we'll go get those little knuckleheads running up and down the court. Afterward, catch some college football after that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You got some big ones this weekend.
Got some real good ones I'm sure we'll talk about.
We're definitely going to talk about that.
Oh, yes.
But the one that pretty much on everybody's mind is the upcoming Cardinals game.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the show with a little bit of opening buzz for you guys. So here it is.
And now it's time for the opening buzz.
Where I am on the Cardinals.
Around them
it's going to be a bad year for the Cardinals.
They're setting it up for next
used to
year.
it. I'm going to be picking against the Cardinals every single week. You can take that to the bank.
Yeah, that was Mike Florio from NBC Sports Radio recently, and his projection for the Cardinals season is pretty much a projection for most of the experts and even the Cardinals fans. I think it's going to probably be a pretty solemn year for the Cardinals. It's probably going to have a lot of L's in their record this year. It's going to be a rough season for the Cardinals and Cardinals faithful.
So they're basically everybody's homecoming game this year.
Kind of something like that, yeah. They're the opening opponent. They're like the week 2 opponent in college football. They're the East Carolina Technical Institute of Technology, yeah.
Or the SEC, their late November cupcake.
The late November cupcake is before they hook up with their rival.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what the Cardinals are. This is going to be the first game also for the Commanders' new OC. For the Washington Commanders, Eric Bieniemy.
Oh, Bieniemy, yes.
This is his first game as the official. I know that there was a lot of speculation of whether or not he was calling the plays, how much he had involved with how much involved he was with the offense in Kansas City under Andy Reid. Or was it Andy Reid that was calling the shots, or was it Eric Bieniemy? How much influence did he really have on the impact of that team's offense, that juggernaut offense? But now it's he's a shot caller.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Bieniemy would have actually called plays for Pacheco last week.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Everybody and their moms that have them in there, not only in their draft team, but bet the parlays, anytime score Pacheco. You got to have the ball for that to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm pretty sure Bieniemy would have called a play or two for that dude.
Yeah. And also you got Sam Howell. This is going to be his official. Yeah. Well, he started one game last year. He's a second-year player from University of North Carolina. He was a 5th-round draft pick going into the 2022 NFL draft. So the Commanders are really high on him because he beat out Jacoby Brissett for the starting quarterback job this preseason. So he's going to be the man he's going to be a man at the helm of that Commanders team.
Yeah, that's going to be obviously. I think the division is probably one of the, from top to bottom, toughest division in the NFL. And the Commanders, I think they're going to surprise some people. There's a little bit of talent there, and Bieniemy's calling the shots there, and then we know he's a football savant offensively.
He is.
So
I'm happy for him. This is his opportunity to really showcase and show what he's capable of. I mean, he had more influence than people gave him credit for in Kansas City, but a lot of people wanted to give more of the credit to Andy Reid, or give pretty much just about all the credit to Andy Reid, and not enough credit to Eric Bieniemy. But he did have influence, and Andy Reid actually was pretty adamant that Eric Bieniemy had influence on the team. He's really starting to plant his seed with the Washington Commanders. A lot of guys he's ruffling some feathers the Commanders because he's demanding. He wants excellence, like the kind of excellence that he was able to that they were able to generate out there with Kansas City. And granted, it's a different quarterback. You had maybe a little bit more talent offensively, but he expects nothing but the best, from the guys that he coaches up. So he's going to coach them hard.
Right. And a lot of that credit to, while Kelsey and them were great players, a lot of that had to do with Bieniemy's development and play calling and putting the ball in the right spaces, for their athletes. So, Bieniemy, he expects that same excellence. We're in the NFL. That is going to change. And, I want the same contributions from you guys. Let's go get it.
Right. And Sam Howell, we mentioned, is a starting quarterback. His primary target's going to be Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson Jr., as well as Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. And then Sunday is going to be the debut, of course, for Arizona Cardinals head coach, the head coach Jonathan Gannon, offense coordinator Drew Petzing, as well as the defensive coordinator Nick Rawlis and the special teams coordinator Jeff Rogers. So this is a new deal for them. So when you're talking about, if you're talking about like an experience perspective between the two coaching staffs, look, the Washington Commanders have it night and day over the Arizona Cardinals because you're talking about Gannon, who's first-year head coach. He was a defensive coordinator, of course, a couple seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Drew Petzing, who's now the OC for the Cardinals. He was a quarterback coach. He was a QB coach for the Cleveland Browns. Nick Rawlis is coming along with him. I believe Nick Rawlis was an assistant to him in Philadelphia with the Eagles, and then you have the Jeff Rogers, the special teams coordinator. These are all new. This is new for these guys, so it's a step up for them. It's going to be interesting to watch them this season. They're going to suffer a lot of games.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people believe that they're purposely tanking. So and it's yet to be seen. I hope that they put out at least a decent product out there on the field. They're going to probably lose around 15, maybe 16 games this season. But it'd be interesting to see what they put out there product-wise and how hard these guys play for this new young regime.
Well, Caleb Williams looks to be the truth, so you can't blame the Cardinals for wanting to tank for him.
Yeah.
He looks like the absolute truth, and
he does. There's a lot of comparisons between him and Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
So there's obvious comparisons there.
And I tell you what, the video, I don't know if you have it, that excerpt, but the video that went viral of Gannon talking to the team about,
yeah, that awkward, that cringe-worthy thing that the Cardinals the Cardinals utilize that wasn't like film that somebody stole, somebody snuck into like the meeting room. The Cardinals took that film and they utilized that as part of their promo to their YouTube little thing that they got going on, the documentary of the Cardinals preseason or the season for the Cardinals. That was cringeworthy, man.
It was super. It was.
We actually put something together on our YouTube channel, so you guys can peep that out. It's a little short. It's kind of corny. It's something that I put together when I heard him say that we want killers, and the way that just the awkward energy that he had there, and the expression on the players' faces, it just didn't feel right.
But he asked them if they were.
What are you guys? You guys take the bus You guys take the bus? What's that about?
Oh, you see that
you
Lamborghini
got guys with
out
beanies.
there?
You got guys with Benzes and Bentleys and Lamborghinis and Maseratis. What are you talking about? Did you guys take the bus? I don't know if that was an expression or if he was like serious. If he was serious, do you guys take the express?
Hey,
do you guys take the light rail here?
After watching the Hard Knocks with Robert Saleh and how he has those guys going, and then of course Campbell with the Lions.
Right.
How he has those guys going.
What a great job, man, Dan Campbell's done with the Detroit Lions coming in. And granted, Kansas City, they were without the stud wide receiver. They were without the stud wide receiver. They were without Chris Jones, who's holding out for a new contract, and Travis Kelce. And yes, their receiving core they played a horrible game for Kansas City. They let Patrick Mahomes down. There was just a plethora of drop passes that would have continued to extend drives and set them up in scoring positions. Kansas City probably should have won that game, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And Dan Campbell did a hell of a job going in there, Kansas City, the night that they're going to go ahead and put up another banner for them and get their Super Bowl rings. And
he set the tone early, going for it on fourth down, or with the fake punt, deep in his own territory. Mm-hmm. He set the tone for his team. Like, hey, this is it. This is what we about to do. We finna win games this year, and there's no excuses. We go take what they won't give us. Every cliche as a coach will say it, and he out there getting it. He's taking it.
Somebody mentioned their last 2 victories were against Aaron Rodgers in his last game for the Green Bay Packers. And then this first game, this opening game out in NBC, NBC Sports for the whole nation to see. It was a game where, they were christening the Kansas City Chiefs for another Super Bowl victory, another banner. And they went in there on national television in front of the rest of in front of pretty much the world, and then basically beat the defending Super Bowl champions. It was a really good game for the Detroit Lions. I expect a lot out of them. They'll make the playoffs, and then with Aaron Rodgers out of the division, I think it's wide open for them to go ahead and to wind up taking that division. And who knows what they could do playoff wise, but they look pretty good, man.
They look really good. They got a lot of good pieces, on both sides of the ball.
And how about the resurgence for Jared Goff?
Yeah.
He looks like a different quarterback than he had last couple of years. He struggled a little bit. He's been on and off. But
I think he was still trying to get acclimated to the system, but now I think, with the drafting of Jameer and you got one of the most underrated receivers in Amon St. Ra, in my opinion, that is going to be a very, very good weapon for him.
Right.
And, of course, you got a defense that's going to help, shorten the field up for you.
Right.
They got a really good defense. I like that defense a lot and what they got going on with that. So I think Goff is in a little comfortable situation now. And, he's one of the more of a game manager type quarterback, I would think, rather than having to be the franchise quarterback.
And he fits the system. I think he fits the system really nicely. And back to the Cardinals-Washington Commanders game on Sunday. Just a quick injury update. The defensive end, Chase Young, he played just 3 games the previous season. He tore his ACL. So he's coming back from an ACL injury. And he's had a stinger. He had a neck stinger early on in the preseason game. I think it was against Cleveland Browns like August 11th. But he's been in pads this week. Throughout the course of this week, so we expect Chase Young to play. That defense is pretty vaunted for they've went ahead and they've reconstructed that defense in Washington. So that's something that the Cardinals are going to have to contend with. And the wide receiver Terry McLaurin, he's had a toe issue, but he was in pads as well as Chase. So Chase Young. So look for both of them to score. No, look for both of them to participate in this game. And as far as the odds are concerned, Washington right now is a 7-point favorite against the Cards. Okay. They think that it's going to be somewhere, the point total is going to be somewhere around 38.5 points. But most of the people, they project that the Arizona Cardinals are going to lose this game. And as you heard Mike Florio, and then it was Chris Sims, that NBC on that opening, the little opening segment, both of them have the Washington Commanders beating the Arizona Cardinals by about 11, 13 points. So,
yeah, I like McLaurin.
Yeah. Should be an interesting game. All right, coming up next, we asked the question, will Kyler Murray play it down for the Cardinals this season? One former GM says no. We'll get into this rumor circulating around him next. You're tuned into The Crossover, KDUS 1060.